الرحيم صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله وعلى أهل بيتك المظلومين صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة ويا عبرة كل مؤمن ومؤمنة يا غريب يا شهيد كربلاء فيا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. Respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be on the companions of Imam Hussein, the shining stars who sacrificed their lives to show their love for the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who sacrificed their lives out of their love for Abi Abdullah al-Hussein, who sacrificed their lives to uphold the message of Islam and save Islam. We are forever indebted to the efforts and the sacrifices of every one of the companions of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Now, some of the companions of the Imam we are familiar with, such as Habib ibn Madahir, this great noble companion, Al-Hurr ibn Yazid al-Riyahi, and his act of repentance on the day of Ashura. Jawn, Mawla Abi Dhar, that great companion. Muslim ibn Aqil. We are familiar with some of these companions. But there are other companions that we are not familiar with. Their life, their legacy, their contributions towards the message of Karbala. Tonight in our discussion, I would like to shed some light on one of the shining stars of the companions of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, who was martyred before the day of Ashura. He was among the very early shuhada of the message of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. This noble companion is Qays ibn Mushir or Musahhar Al-Saydawi. Qays was a very noble, honorable, and righteous human being, and one of the true Shia of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. He belongs to the famous tribe of Banu Asad. And you know Banu Asad, they had many warriors. A number of the companions of Imam Hussein alayhi salam came from this tribe, such as Habib ibn Madahir al-Asadi. And this tribe is a descendant of Ismail, the son of Ibrahim al-Khalil, peace be upon them. Now, there was a sub-tribe within the Banu Asad called Banu Sayda. Qays al-Saydawi comes from this tribe, and hence he carries this last name, Qays ibn Mushir or Musahhar al-Saydawi. He was truly a man of honor, a man of nobility. Let's now see how he comes to join the message and the revolution of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So in the month of Rajab, Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, he dies in Syria. A while after, news reaches Kufa that Muawiyah, the ruler, has died. The Shia of Kufa, they gather in the house of a noble Shia, one of the courageous men of Kufa, was a man by the name of Sulaiman ibn Surad al-Khuza'i. They gather in his house and they discuss among themselves, now Muawiyah has died. What do we do? How can we choose the right leader now to lead us, to lead this ummah? So they all come to a consensus. Let's write letters to Imam Hussein alayhi salam, asking him to come to Kufa. Let him be our leader. So in that gathering, Qays was present. And they write 150 letters to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Each one of those noble men, the Shia who loved Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, they wrote a letter to Imam Hussein asking him to come. And they submit one of those letters to Qays to hand deliver it to Imam Hussein. They sent a few messengers. One of them was Qays. I would like to read to you the text of the letter that they sent with Qays to Imam Hussein. It's very short, 2 lines. للحسين بن علي عليه السلام من شيعة المؤمنين. This is a letter from the Shia, the believers, to Hussein, son of Ali عليهم السلام. أما بعد فحي هلا. Come, rush to us. Don't wait any longer. فإن الناس ينتظرونك. People are desperately waiting for you. لا رأي لهم في غيرك. They would not want to choose anyone but you. There is consensus on you, O Hussein. Please come to us. فالعجل العجل والسلام. Come to us immediately. They give this letter to Qays. Qays goes to give this letter to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Now, where was Imam Hussein at this time? In the month of Rajab, when Muawiyah dies, Imam Hussein alayhi salam leaves Medina and he goes to Mecca. He spends the month of Sha'ban in Mecca. Then the month of Ramadan comes. Imam Hussein alayhi salam is still in Mecca. On the 12th of Ramadan, Qays arrives Mecca with that letter. He goes to see Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He hand delivers the letter to Imam al-Hussein. Imam al-Hussein reads the letter and all the hundreds of other letters that had come to him from Kufa. And the Imam alayhi salam decides to travel to Iraq. But before doing so, Imam al-Hussein sends his cousin and ambassador Muslim ibn Aqil. So 3 days later, on the 15th day of the month of Ramadan, Muslim ibn Aqil takes a letter from Imam Hussein alayhi salam to the people of Kufa, and he's representing Imam Hussein in Kufa. Qays goes with him. So now you see on this journey, when Muslim ibn Aqil goes from Mecca to Kufa, Qays Al-Saydawi is with him. They travel to Medina because Medina is north of Mecca. It's pretty much on your way to Iraq. It seems that Muslim had felt this was his last journey. So he stops in Medina to farewell his family members. He says his final salam to them, his final goodbyes to them. On their way to Iraq, they had a guide who was leading their caravan, like a driver, like a captain these days. This driver gets lost in the way. He loses the way. They get thirsty. They almost die. Then finally, they find the way. It seems that Muslim ibn Aqil considered this as possibly being some bad omen. So he tells Qays, let's not go any further. I want you to go back to Mecca. Tell Imam Hussein alayhi salam this is what happened to us. Does he still want us to go to Kufa or should we come back? So Qays comes to Mecca. He sees Imam Hussein. He tells him that we lost our way. We almost died from thirst. So what should we do now? Muslim ibn Aqil is asking. Imam Hussein alayhi salam tells him, no, go. It's okay. I want you to proceed to Kufa. So they proceed to Kufa. Muslim ibn Aqil arrives. Tens of thousands of people come to pledge him allegiance. They're eagerly waiting. Al-Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Qays Al-Saydawi is now with Muslim, and Qays does his best to rally support for Imam Hussein. So he goes to his tribe of Banu Asad, Banu Sayda, and he tells them, come, Let's show our support to Muslim. That way we prepare the grounds for the arrival of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein. So they gather in the house of Al-Mukhtar, the famous Al-Mukhtar al-Thaqafi, in order to discuss how they can support Muslim ibn Aqil and prepare the grounds for the arrival of Al-Imam al-Hussein. So now Muslim ibn Aqil is in Kufa, and he sees all these people coming to show support for Imam Hussein. So he writes a letter to Al-Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. In the letter he says to the Imam, basically to summarize the letter for you, so many people here in Kufa pledged me allegiance. So it seems that the grounds are prepared for your arrival. I ask you to now to come. He gives this letter to Qays and a number of other of the Imam's companions. Qays takes this letter, he goes to Mecca. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam was still in Mecca. When he delivers the letter to the Imam alayhi salam reads the letter, he decides now to go to Kufa because his ambassador, Muslim ibn Aqil, has told him, you should come now. So many people have pledged me allegiance. But subhanAllah, during these days, as Qays is going from Kufa to Mecca, it took several days during that time to make that journey. Things flipped in Kufa. Ibn Ziyad arrived. He started to bribe the tribal leaders, and he started to threaten the average citizen. Anyone who was communicating with Imam Hussein, sending letters to Imam Hussein, advocating for Imam Hussein, Ibn Ziyad was persecuting them. So things changed, and slowly, every single day, Muslim ibn Aqil was losing supporters. So Al-Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, one day before the day of Arafah, one day before the Hajj, he leaves the city of Mecca with his companions to go to Iraq. Who is with him now? Qays is with him. Qays Al-Saydawi is with Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein reaches a valley called Al-Rumm. It's halfway between Hijaz and Iraq. So modern day in Saudi Arabia, if you're going from Saudi Arabia, from Mecca to Iraq, there's a valley about halfway called Al-Rumm. When Imam Hussein reaches Al-Rumm, he tells Qays, I want you to take a letter and deliver it to the Shias of Kufa. Tell them I'm coming. Let them know that Hussein is on the way. And so the Imam, he writes in his letter, I thank you for your support. He praises Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He thanks the believers for their support. And then he tells them, on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, I have left Mecca. And I'm on my way to Kufa. So get ready. You asked me to come. Here I am. I'm on my way. Qays now has one mission. Imam Hussein is entrusting him with these letters. They're addressed to specific people in Kufa who had the power to mobilize the followers of Ahlul Bayt to join Al-Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Qays is trying to enter Kufa. He's now in the city of Al-Qadisiyah. Al-Qadisiyah was an old ancient city about 17 miles to the west of Kufa. So to the west of Najaf today, there was a famous city called Al-Qadisiyah. Ibn Ziyad was very savvy. He knew that the companions of Imam Hussein alayhi salam were delivering letters back and forth between Mecca and Kufa. So he assigns spies to monitor who is going and who's coming. And then he appoints an evil, vicious man by the name of Hussein ibn Tamim. Not Hussein, Hussein. You know, like Hassan in Arabic, horse. It's Hussein with the Sad, not with the Sin. He appoints him as the head of the police of Iraq. And he puts 4,000 horsemen and police officers at his disposal. Hussein captures Qays. He arrests him. He realizes that he's in contact with Imam Hussein alayhi salam. They arrest him and they take him to Kufa to Ibn Ziyad in the governor's palace. Before arriving Kufa, Qays takes out the letters of Imam Hussein and he tears them apart. Because he knew now Ibn Ziyad wanted to read those letters, know the contents of those letters, and he would go and kill whoever the letters are addressed to. So to protect their lives and to protect the message of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he ripped apart the letters. He's now brought to the evil dictator Ibn Ziyad. When Ibn Ziyad looks at him, he tells him, Qays, hand over the letters to me. Give them to me. Where are the letters Hussein has sent to the people of Kufa? He told them, I ripped them apart. I tore all those letters. He told him, what? Why did you do that? He said, so you don't read what's in those letters. Look at his courage. I tore those letters so you don't read what's in them. He told them, okay, if you tore them apart, tell me, who were they addressed to? He says, I do not know exactly who they're addressed to. And in this moment, he wanted to protect their lives. Inshallah, on one of the nights, we'll talk about tawriyah and lying. In cases like that, when a fellow believer is about to be killed, you are obligated not to say the truth. Don't tell them, don't reveal those names, because you'll get them in trouble and you'll have them killed. You have to protect their lives. He said, don't ask me about their names. I won't tell you. I don't know. Ibn Ziyad tells him, look, I give you two offers. Either you tell me those names and you'll be saved, or you'll go up on the mimbar, on the pulpit of Kufa, and you curse the liar, the son of the liar. Who does he mean? He's referring to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. You go up there and you curse Ali, Hassan and Hussein. If you don't do one of these two, I'll have you cut into pieces. You understand? So do one of these. Either reveal those names or get up and curse Imam Ali and his family. Qays tells Ibn Ziyad, I'll accept the second offer. I'm not going to reveal those names to you, but I am willing to get up and curse. I'll engage in la'an. Yalla, give me the pulpit. So Ibn Ziyad, he gives him the platform. Qays goes on the pulpit of Kufa and he begins by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then he sends the salawat and the blessings of Allah on the Ali wal Hassan wal Hussein, and he praises the Ahlul Bayt, and he says there is no person right now closer to Allah than Al-Hussein ibn Ali. He's the son of Fatima alayhi salam. He praises Imam Hussein, and then he curses Ibn Ziyad and Ibn Ziyad's father and all of Bani Umayyah. He curses them on the pulpit of Kufa. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Look at the courage, my dear brothers and sisters. Look, Qays knew Ibn Ziyad was going to kill him anyway. He probably knew this man is not to be trusted. At least he took advantage of the opportunity to say the truth, to rise to the truth. Yes, he knew he would have to pay a very heavy price. But at the end of the day, he wanted to support the message of Ahlul Bayt. That's a lesson for us. Be strong in representing the truth. When there's an act of injustice, don't fear, oh, maybe they're going to fire me from my job. They'll cancel my, Facebook account. Say the truth. Uphold the truth. Who cares? Allah is with you. The universe is with you. The angels of Allah are with you. The Quran is with you when you uphold the truth. That's one lesson that we learned from this courageous man. He got up in the presence of that tyrant and he said it to his face. You're the dictator. You're the evil one. Hussein is our Imam. And he told Ibn Ziyad before going to the pulpit, I am one of the Shia of Ali. And I'm proud to be the Shia of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Another lesson we learned from Qays up until this point is his amana, his trustworthiness. Imam Hussein alayhi salam trusted him with those letters. He made sure no matter what, the enemies would not see those letters. If I want to be a true follower of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, I have to ask myself, am I trustworthy? When people trust me with private information, with their secrets, do I honor their secrets or do I expose them? Some of us, we enjoy, we feast on the secrets of people. Especially in our sahras and our gatherings, when I'm with my friends and cousins and having a good time, and I know secrets about my other friends, yalla, it's time to share those secrets, because it makes the majlis fun. Let's face it. People enjoy these majalis, these sahras, where you sit and you talk about private sensitive information, secrets about people, who did what. Because you get attention. When you're sitting in the Sahara and you've got secrets to share with others, you will be the center of attention. And that's why we're tempted to share secrets. But in that moment, realize that's your trial. That's when shaitan is tempting you. If a fellow friend entrusts you with a secret, my dear brothers and sisters, never break that trust. One of the biggest sins in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to break that trust. Sometimes you have a husband and a wife, unfortunately, they get into fights. Sometimes that leads to separation and divorce. And then you know what they do? They've got 20 years of ammunition against each other, of secrets and haki and tuham. And you see the guy going and exposing his ex-wife everywhere in the community, giving her a bad name. Sometimes she does the same. I cannot be a true supporter of Imam Hussein if I act that way. You lived for 20 years. You had your private life. Don't go and expose each other in the community and expose sensitive information just to ruin that person's character. Because sometimes when separation happens, when divorce happens, we want to justify our position. Especially the spouse who's unjust, the abuser. In order to justify his position, he makes up lies about his or her spouse just to look good in the community. Hey, it wasn't my fault. It was her fault. It was his fault. Anytime you're entrusted with secrets, private information, don't share it. Yes, if someone commits dhulm, injustice to you, if someone wrongs you, truly, objectively, someone has hurt you, someone has wronged you, you can talk to your family members about that. Allah has given permission to the oppressed to talk about the injustice that has happened to them. But you know sometimes what we do? We start with the injustice that has happened to us, and then we go and expose everything about that person, even things that have nothing to do with me. That's haram. You're not authorized to talk about that. So we find Qays had this beautiful quality of being trustworthy. When your imam entrusts you, imagine how high of a position that person must have. And he delivered the amanah. He tore the letters, even if it knew that this could cost his life. But I'm not going to reveal the secrets. I'm not going to reveal the letter of Imam Hussein. So he goes on the pulpit. He gives that fiery speech. At that point, Ibn Ziyad summons him. He tells him, come. He was raging and fuming by this time. You went on the pulpit of Kufa, and you, instead of cursing Ali, Hassan and Hussein, alayhimus salam, you cursed me and my family and the Bani Umayyads. I'll teach you a lesson. But Qays was very firm. He was unwavering. He didn't try to go and apologize and flatter, give me another chance. It was an honor for him to give his life in the way of Imam Hussein. So what Ibn Ziyad does, he has Qays go on the roof of the palace of the governor, and they push him from the top of the palace, and he falls to the ground to his shahada. And that's how Qays becomes amongst the earliest shuhada in the path of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. This was just a few days after Muslim ibn Aqil had been killed in Kufa. So Muslim ibn Aqil is amongst the very early shuhada, and then after him is Qays. So Qays goes back to his Lord as a shaheed. Now Imam Hussein alayhi salam is on his way to Kufa. Al-Imam al-Hussein is now waiting for more news to come from Kufa. Al-Hurr, he comes to block access from entering to Kufa. He appears with 1,000 soldiers to stop Imam Hussein alayhi salam from going to Kufa. And then Hurr makes a deal with Imam Hussein. He tells him, okay, your supporters who are here now, they can stay with you. I'm waiting for instructions from Ibn Ziyad, but no one can join you. No one is allowed to join you. The Imam says, okay, leave my supporters, leave my companions alone until Ibn Ziyad gives you your instructions. During that time, 4 people from the supporters of Imam Hussein alayhi salam come from Kufa towards Imam Hussein to join him. And they were being led by a guide. His name was At-Tarammah ibn Adi or Uday At-Ta'i. He was also a poet. He used to guide the caravan. He would drive the camels. He would guide the caravan. And he was also a very famous poet. So when they come to Imam Hussein alayhi salam, this is not far from Kufa, not far from Karbala. They meet the Imam alayhi salam. When they see the Imam, At-Tarammah, he makes his very special, famous lines of poetry. He says, Ya naqati la tad'ari min zajri, wamdhi bina qabla tulu'il fajri. Oh my camel, don't be scared. We have to leave before dawn. Let's go to the best of Allah's creation. And he gives such beautiful description in Arabic poetry of Imam Hussein, of Bani Hashim. And he tells us about the evil of Abu Sufyan and his family and Muawiyah and Yazid and the Umayyads. So now they arrive and they want to join Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Imam al-Hussein, when he hears those beautiful lines of poetry, the Imam alayhi salam, he basically says, I submit myself to Allah. Whether we achieve victory and we go to Kufa or we get killed, either way, we submit our will to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they're about to join Imam Hussein when Al-Hurr blocks them. He says, no, I made an agreement with Hussein that no one should join him until I receive new instructions from Ibn Ziyad. Imam Hussein tells Hurr, no, they're from my companions. They're from my supporters. It's not like I'm, gaining new supporters. They are already my supporters and they must join me. Hurr said, no, I made an agreement with you. Only your companions can stay with you. The Imam said, listen, I will protect them just like I protect my companions with me. My agreement with you was that my supporters, you let them. And they are amongst my supporters. So you have to let them join me. At that point, Al-Hurr, he gives in. And so they come to join Al-Imam Al-Hussein alayhi salam. Imam Al-Hussein asks them, tell me about Kufa. What's going on in Kufa? This part is really heartbreaking. So many people, thousands of letters were sent to you, telling you, you are our Imam, come to Kufa. The Imam is asking them, tell us, what's going on in Kufa? They tell him, Aba Abdullah, basically, things don't look good in Kufa. As for the tribal elites, the tribal leaders, they've all been bribed and bought by Ibn Ziyad. They're now against you. They're not willing to support you, and they're mobilizing their people to come and fight you. As for the average people, their hearts are with you, but their swords are against you. That's the news of Kufa, to sum it up for you. Imam Hussein alayhi salam is very moved by these words. He knew that he had been betrayed. The Imam knew all along, this is the plan of Allah that he wanted to follow. But now, the confirmation came to him that the people of Kufa have betrayed him. The Imam alayhi salam asked them, tell me about the fate of Qays. My companion, my messenger Qays, where is he? What happened to him? They tell him, Qays, Al-Saydawi? He said, yes, I sent him with a letter to the people of Kufa. What happened to him? They tell him, Aba Abdullah, we don't have good news about Qays. Hussein ibn Tamim captured him. And by the way, do you know who Hussein is? How evil and vicious he was? On the day of Ashura, Hussein did something extremely evil. On the day of Ashura, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, according to some reports, he manages to go to the river of Furat. When he's left all alone, every one of his companions are killed, and the children are saying Al-Atash. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam managed to reach the river of Furat. And he was about to drink from the river when Hussein shot Imam al-Hussein with an arrow. The arrow landed in part of the neck of the Imam. The Imam alayhi salam took out that arrow and the blood was gushing. This is moments before they surrounded him and they killed him. The blood was gushing from the neck of the Imam. He held the blood in his hands and he threw it towards the sky. And then he made a dua against them. He says, "Oh Allah, don't spare any of them. Remove them from the face of this planet." That's how evil they were. The narrator of this incident, he says, "I swear by Allah, days later, this evil man, Hussein ibn Tamim, he developed a disease of thirst. Nothing would quench his thirst. He would yell, 'I'm thirsty. Nothing is quenching my thirst.' He got thirsty, so thirsty until his stomach was torn apart and he went to Jahannam and he died." Allah immediately answered the dua of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. This was the vicious man Hussein. So they told Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Hussein captured Qays. He took him to Ibn Ziyad. And Ibn Ziyad forced him to curse you and Imam Ali, but he did the opposite. He praised you. He praised your father, Amir al-Mu'mineen. And then he delivered your letter to the people. He told them, "Look, Hussein is coming to Kufa. I'm announcing that he will arrive soon, so I ask all of you to support him." And then they killed him. When Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam learned and heard that Qays has been killed, he begins to cry. He sheds his tears on Qays ibn Musahhar al-Saydawi. And then the Imam alayhi salam, he says these words, "Allahumma ij'al lana wa li shi'atina manzilan karima." Oh Allah, give us and my followers and my Shia an honorable place with you. You want an honorable house with Allah on the Day of Judgment? Be amongst the Shia of Hussein. This is the dua of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam for his Shia. And then listen to what Imam al-Hussein says. وَاجْمَعْ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَهُمْ فِي مُسْتَقَرِّ رَحْمَتِكَ. Imam al-Hussein says, "Ya Allah, reunite me with my Shias on the Day of Judgment." Imam al-Hussein makes this prayer. Imam al-Hussein doesn't need anyone. He doesn't need any of his Shia. He has the highest levels with Allah. He's Sayyid Shababi Ahlul Jannah. He's the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wa alihi. He's an infallible Imam. But the Imam loves his followers and he cares about his Shia. And he asked Allah to unite him with his Shia on the Day of Judgment. Look at the compassion of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein. My dear brothers and sisters, let's make it our goal in our lives to be a true Shia of Hussein. If you make yourself a true Shia of Hussein, you carry the akhlaq of Imam Hussein. You leave sins for the sake of Allah and to be closer to Imam Hussein. Allah will include you in the dua that Imam Hussein made. Allah will unite you with Abi Abdullah al-Hussein on the Day of Judgment. So this is the dua that the Imam said after he cried for Qays. And then Imam al-Hussein has a conversation with Hurr. He tells him, "Hurr, why are you stopping me from going to Kufa? The people of Kufa, they invited me. Okay, if now you change your mind, let me go. Why are you fighting me? Let me go. I'll go back to where I came from." Al-Hurr told Imam Hussein, "What are you talking about? I never sent you any letter." And Hurr was truthful. He personally did not send any letter to Imam Hussein asking him to come to Kufa. So he told him, "I don't know what you're talking about. I never sent any letter. Who sent you letters?" Imam Hussein alayhi salam had 2 large bags of letters, thousands of letters. He opened the bags and he told Hurr, "Look, read inside these letters. Look at them." He looked at the letters, he saw, yes, the people of Kufa did indeed invite Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So at that point, Hurr kept quiet. He couldn't argue with Imam Hussein anymore. He told him, "Okay, I just have to wait then for the instructions from Ibn Ziyad to come." But subhanallah, how later Al-Hurr repents. You know, when he stopped them from going to Kufa, and the daughters of Imam Hussein were terrorized. They were in fear when they saw 1,000 soldiers with Hurr. Imam Hussein told Hurr, "Thakalatka ummuk." May your mother grieve on you. It's an Arabic expression. It's not to be taken literal. Meaning, woe upon you. You're stopping me from going to Kufa. You know what Al-Hurr said? By the way, he was embarrassed. He's the leader of 1,000 soldiers, and Imam Hussein alayhi salam put him on the spot by saying that to him. So naturally you want to defend yourself. So he was about to say to Imam Hussein, may your mother grieve on you, but he held back. He told him, Ya Hussein, I can't say the same to you when your mother is Fatima. What am I going to say? Fatima, may she grieve on you? I can't say that. See, he had some goodness in him. It's that goodness, it's that respect that he showed to Fatima, to Hussein, that saved him on the day of Ashura, and Allah gave him the tawfiq to repent. The sin of Hurr is very big. Blocking the Imam of your time from going to his destination is one of the biggest sins, if not the biggest sin you can ever commit. But he repented on the day of Ashura, sincerely, and he regretted it, and he fixed it by joining Al-Imam Al-Hussein. Even if we have big sins, my dear brothers and sisters, and we lose hope on such a night, be inspired by the legacy of Hurr. If Allah forgave him, Allah will forgive you too. At least the sins we've committed are not of that magnitude. Inshallah, they're not at that magnitude. If you truly repent, Allah will forgive you just like He forgave Al-Hurr. So Al-Imam Al-Hussein alayhi salam, he's very troubled when he hears the news of Qays ibn Mushir or Musahar Al-Saydawi. He cries on him, and he's one of the martyrs of Karbala. And Imam Al-Hujjah Ajjalallah Farajah, in a ziyarah nahiya, in one of his ziyaras, the Imam, he sends his salams to the companions, to the shuhada, and he includes Qays. As-salamu ala Qays ibn Mushir Al-Saydawi. Even though he didn't die on the day of Ashura, he wasn't amongst the shuhada of the land of Karbala, but the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, also in another ziyarah Rajabiyah, his name is mentioned. The Imams grouped him with the companions of Imam Hussein because he was among those early ones who died in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So on such a night, I wanted to remember the legacy of this noble man, because we are truly indebted to all those sacrifices. On such a night, my dear brothers and sisters, we remember also the legacy of the one who was with Qays, the very first companion of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, to sacrifice his life in the way of Allah, and that is Muslim ibn Aqil. Muslim ibn Aqil, this noble warrior, this truthful, honest man. Decades before Muslim was killed, the Prophet ﷺ, you know what he said to Imam Ali? In a hadith, he said to Imam Ali alayhi salam, I love your brother Aqil because he has such a progeny. Muslim ibn Aqil is the son of Aqil. Aqil is the elder brother of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. And then the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi tells Ali, oh Ali, let me tell you, the son of Aqil, he shall die supporting your son Hussein one day. وستدمع عليه عيون المؤمنين. These are the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. He says one of the signs of the mu'mineen, the believers, is that they will cry, they will shed tears on Muslim ibn Aqil. Allahu Akbar, what happened to Muslim ibn Aqil? One day in Kufa, Muslim ibn Aqil, he finishes his salah. He looks back, he doesn't see anyone behind him to support him. At that point, he feels the ghurba, the loneliness of Imam Al-Hussein. If the people abandoned me now, how will they abandon Imam Hussein when he arrives Iraq? But now Muslim ibn Aqil, he doesn't know where to go. Where does he go? He's been betrayed. He doesn't have a house in Kufa. He doesn't have a family in Kufa. He was thirsty. So he goes to the doorstep of a house. He's trying to rest a little bit over there. When at that point a lady by the name of Taw'a, she opens the door. She sees a stranger sitting at her doorstep. She tells him, oh man, why are you here? He tells her, I'm thirsty. She gives him some water. Moments later she comes back. She sees him still sitting. She tells him, oh man, why are you sitting here? Go back to your house. I don't allow you to sit here anymore. At that point, when she tells him, go to your family, he tells her, Ya Amat Allah, ما لي في هذا المصر أهل ولا عشيرة. He tells her, oh servant of Allah, you're telling me to go to my family? I don't have any family in this city. I don't have any house to go to. Where do you want me to go to? She tells him, why? Who are you? Why is it that you don't have a house here? Where did you come from? He tells her, I am Muslim ibn Aqil, the cousin of Hussein. يقلها وعين مستديرة، يا لا أهل عندي ولا عشيرة، غريب وعمامي بغير ديرة ديرة، ومثل حيرتي ما جرت حيرة، أنا مسلم الفاقد نصيرة. طوعة, she loved the Ahlul Bayt, she loved Imam Hussein. She told him, you're Muslim, you've been abandoned like this, Faddal, come to my house. Yes, I allow you to stay in my house, I'll give you protection. That last night of his life, Muslim ibn Aqil, he spends his time in the house of Taw'a. She noticed that he did not eat, he did not sleep, he engaged in ibadah and supplication and Quran on that last night. He takes a short nap. After that, she comes to him, she tells him, Muslim, why do I see you in this state? What's happening? Why didn't you eat? Why didn't you sleep? He told her, oh Taw'a, I believe this is my final night, because just now I took a short nap and I saw my uncle Ali ibn Abi Talib, and he told me, Muslim, come to us, we're waiting for you. I take that as a sign that this is my last night. Shortly after dawn, around sunrise, Muslim ibn Aqil, he hears the horsemen surrounding her house. They discovered he was hiding in that location. So he puts on his armor and he prepares himself to go and fight the enemies, to defend Imam al-Hussein's message. He goes in the alleys of Kufa. He's fighting very bravely, very valiantly. But those evil men, they realize that if it's one-on-one combat, he will outnumber all of them. He will kill them. So they go from the rooftops of the homes of Kufa. They throw stones at him. They throw sticks with fire at him. They surround him from every direction. One of them, he strikes his lips with an arrow. His upper lip is now torn and he begins to bleed. Allahu Akbar. Finally, after they surround him, they knock him down and they arrest him and they take him to the palace of Ibn Ziyad. These are the final moments in the life of Muslim. Yes, O mu'mineen, O believers, he was extremely thirsty at this point. So he asked for some water. They bring him a bucket of water. He's trying to drink from it, but because his mouth, his lips are bleeding, the bucket of water is filled with blood now. It's najis now, it's contaminated, so he refuses to drink it. He asks for another bucket, the same happens. At that point, he knew that it's not meant for him to drink. He knew that he was going to die thirsty. Subhanallah, the same fate of his Imam, Abi Abdullah al-Hussein. Yes, they take him to the rooftop of the governor's palace. These are the final moments. He stands up and he prays 2 rak'ah. These are the final 2 rak'ah that he would pray in his life. And then he faces towards Hijaz. He gives his salam to Abi Abdullah al-Hussein and he cries. Ibn Ziyad tells him, why are you crying? You put yourself in this situation. Now you're crying like a baby. Why are you crying? He told him, no, I'm not crying for myself. أبكي لأهلي القادمين. I'm crying for my family. I'm crying for Hussein because I know how vicious you are and what you could do to Imam al-Hussein. And then, oh believers, he says his shahada, and then they throw him from the palace. He falls to the ground as a shaheed. رحم الله من نادى ومسلما. Imam al-Hussein is on his way to Iraq, to Kufa. Two men, they come from Kufa, they give him the tragic news. They tell him, oh Hussein, we give you the news that your cousin, your messenger, Muslim ibn Aqil, when we left Kufa, we saw his body being dragged in Kufa. This broke the heart of Imam Hussein. His tears were pouring on his face and on his blessed beard. Allahu Akbar. He knew he lost a supporter. Then, my dear brothers and sisters, Muslim ibn Aqil had a young daughter by the name of Hamida. She was 8 years old. Imam Hussein's her uncle. Imam Hussein calls on her. He tells her, Hamida, come. The Imam, he pats her on her head. He wipes her head. She senses something is not right. She tells him, Hussein, my uncle, why is it that you wipe on my head like you do so on the head of the orphans? Did something happen to my father? He tells her, Bunayya, I'm your father, and my daughters, they are your sisters. Believers, I say this and I conclude. Hamida, when her father was killed, she had a compassionate heart of Imam Hussein to wipe on her head and to comfort her. But I tell you, Sakin and Ruqayya, when their father Hussein was killed in Karbala, who was there to comfort them? You know how they comforted them? When they cried, the enemies, they hit them with the back of the spears. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا آل محمد أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين.